your your work does need to exist on its own, separate from you in the world to do its job, whatever however you define that. I'm going to let you define what its job is. But it has a job and it needs to do it. It has a life of its own. It's fun to conceive of your creative projects as really like kids, like you raise them, you feed and house and shelter them and clothe them, and they are toddlers and then they're teenagers and then they go off to college or whatever, and then eventually they become adults and it's their time to take care of themselves. So an example for me would be the record I just put out. It's time for that. I'm of course I loved it when it was childish, when I was writing the songs. I loved it when I was moving into the demo phase. Maybe those were the tween ages. I loved it when I was working with my producer, Rob Mounsey, and all the great musicians and engineers and everybody. That was like, I don't know, late teens, college aged project. And now I'm at the point where my project is an adult and it's time for it to go out into the world and have its own life. And yes, I'm loving the process of promoting it and talking to people about it, but I'm also very much looking forward to the time when it has its own life, when I've completely let it go and it is doing its own thing out in the world, regardless of me. And so it's fun to think of your projects that way, that sort of once you make them and they're in the world, they're not yours anymore. They're their own life. They have their own life. And that letting go of that life, that stewarding it and then letting it go to have its own life is really, really healthy and can help you feel free, can help you feel like there's more energy to create the next thing. It gives you a tremendous amount of feedback, right? If you're always holding on to the project and always like, protecting it, you never really get the real feedback of the world. And anybody who's done any kind of performance of any variety, whether that's athletic or, artistic or anything, speaking even, that there's sometimes when your experience of the thing is wildly different than the audience's experience of it. Your performance, you thought you blew it, and then someone comes up to you after and says that was the most amazing performance. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, you have to let it go and have its own thing, because actually your view of it might actually not be the view of it. It might be clouded by your judgments and by your history with the project. So what projects are you looking forward to letting go? What projects maybe you should let go of? Like, maybe you've been holding on to them for too long. Are there things that maybe you'll let them go a little early? You can do that too. I mean, that's an option. Sometimes I make a demo of a song, or when it's not really done, and put it out into the world, or put it out into a group of people to give me feedback on.